My name is Patty Gaines, and I will be your host and co-presenter for today's webinar. My fellow presenter today is Andrea Ruttenberg. Andrea and I are senior managers at Applied Marketing Science, and we've been at AMS for 3 and 6 years respectively. During that time, we've managed projects for clients in many fields, including industrial equipment, medical devices, and technology. Welcome, Andrea.
Thanks, Patty.
We call our series Coffee Break Webinars because the purpose of each webinar is to provide a short presentation highlighting key topics related to innovation and insights. These presentations are not comprehensive, but instead touch upon key points we believe are important to successful innovation. We will take questions at the end, and I'd encourage you to submit them by typing in the chat window on the right side of your screen. And with that, I'll turn it over to Andrea.
Thanks, Patty. As the title suggests, today we'll focus on managing your market research projects from start to finish. By the end of the webinar, you'll have some concrete tips and tricks to ensure your research studies run as smoothly as possible. We'll start by briefly describing the role of the project manager, and we'll also give an example of a typical market research engagement here at AMS. Then we'll spend the bulk of our time discussing several tactical how-tos for managing your market research project before wrapping up with some listener questions. As I'm sure we don't need to tell most of those listening in, project management is not always easy. As a project manager, you've got to consider both the 50,000-foot view and work on the nitty-gritty details of a research engagement. Our most important task at AMS is ensuring our work helps our clients develop new, innovative products and services. To get there, we often move between high-level meetings with our principals, where we're discussing our clients' goals and objectives, to more tactical-level conversations with our analysts, where we're designing project materials, including recruiting screeners, discussion guides, surveys, and conducting interviews, specifying analyses, and developing and delivering reports. We wear many hats to make sure our projects are completed on time, in scope, and within budget. Before we get to our tips and tricks, we'll briefly describe what a research engagement looks like here at AMS.
So what does a typical project look like at AMS? We have expertise in a range of qualitative and quantitative research methodologies, including one-on-one interviews, ethnographies, quantitative surveys, conjoint analysis, MaxDiff, and other choice-based modeling. However, our bread and butter is our voice of the customer methodology, which can utilize some or all of these techniques. It's a method we've been using and perfecting for more than 25 years. What do we mean by voice of the customer, or VOC as we more commonly call it? It's become a generic term over the years, and many use the term to refer to simply talking with customers or getting their feedback, whether through casual conversations, watching social media mentions, or reviewing customer service surveys. But at AMS, when we talk about voice of the customer, we mean something very specific. We're talking about the study of customer needs to drive innovation. Customer needs are different from solutions, features, opinions, or engineering characteristics. Customer needs are a description in the customer's own words of the benefit to be fulfilled by the product or service. This definition comes directly from a now famous paper written by AMS co-founder John Hauser and his then graduate student Abby Griffin. More recently, people like Clayton Christensen have used the term jobs to be done. Our concept of needs is entirely consistent with this approach. Now, what does a voice of the customer project typically look like? An AMS voice of the customer project has 3 phases, and as project managers, we need to successfully plan and execute all 3 phases to make sure our projects run as planned. Phase 1 starts with one-on-one qualitative interviews. These interviews are guided conversations, typically between 2 people, the respondent and the interviewer, that help us understand the customer's needs and explore in detail why customers think, feel, or behave the way they do. We audio record each interview and then have it transcribed verbatim so we can review the transcripts and highlight them for needs. We typically end up with between 500 and 1,000 needs, depending on the project, which, as you know, is way too many to make use of. So we winnow the needs down into something much more manageable, usually about 80 to 100, by removing duplicates and needs that are out of scope. In phase 2, we affinitize or bucket the needs into groups that go together. These become our quote-unquote secondary needs and number around 25 or 30. We work closely with our clients during this phase to make sure they agree with our categories, and we often confirm our affinitization with a few respondents as well. In phase 3, we prioritize our secondary needs based on their importance and current performance in the marketplace. Ultimately, we provide our clients with clear focus area needs, hidden opportunities, minimum requirements, and needs that are overemphasized. This is the rigorous process we undertake for each and every VOC project we conduct. Just as a side note, if you want more information on VOC or our VOC process, you can visit our website to learn more, or feel free to reach out to me or Andrea.